Welcome to Behind the Helm. We are so happy you're here with us. The show features myself and Petty Officer Dowden. We work together in Indiana as Navy recruiters. We created the show with the intention to help bring together the past, present, and future personnel of the military to help build a better understanding of what it's like to actually be a part of it. So you'll see anything from like interviews to video reactions or just personal stories of our own to help guide those who have interest in learning more about what the military has to offer and what it takes to make the ultimate sacrifice to serve your country. This podcast can be found on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and live on Facebook every Thursday at 4 p.m. And that's facebook.com/behindthehelm. So don't forget to like, share, and follow the show so you never miss out on an episode. And thank you to everyone here who supports us. Enjoy. Episode 33.
It's only 33.
Yeah, it's only 33.
We kept missing weeks.
Yeah, we missed some weeks. Welcome into Behind the Helm. I'm Petty Officer Levesque. With me is
Chief Petty Officer Dowden.
And if this is your first time here, welcome. Good to have you. If this is your 33rd time here, what's up, man? How's it going, Fields? I don't know if you've noticed, but like I do it every time. Like I don't know if Fields is there, but we'll see. I wonder if he feels special that I give him like a shout out literally every single episode. I'm like, hey, Fields, how are you? And he's like, I'm good. But good to have you guys. If you're watching right now, you're on Facebook, you're watching this live. This is the most interactive way to watch the show. You can key in, ask us some questions. Future Sailor Cooper's here. He said, hey, guys, what's up, man? You guys can ask questions.
That's going to get him out of some PT later.
Yeah, you can you can like the stream. You could share it. As you can see, people are liking and sharing. You get a little GIF that pops up, give you that dopamine. That's how I like to describe it.
I just like that it shows exactly what we do in the Navy.
Yeah. And
we want to apologize, too. We're a little late today.
Late.
We're fixing some software stuff, so you should notice a little bit better audio, but somehow it dropped something. So we're still here. Thank you for those who waited
of course.
And are here.
And also apologies for stuff not being up on the other platforms, Spotify, YouTube. We take responsibility for that, or at least I do. A little time consuming, has some issues with the last episode trying to edit it. So this episode, 100%, I will say a guarantee, will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for sure. As long as the video doesn't, as long as the video isn't cutting out, because we were having some issues with the video skips and lags. We don't want that to translate to YouTube because then it's, but as long as you get to hear our voices, that's what really matters. That's what really matters.
Regardless of what platform you're watching on, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure to comment down below. And as always, make sure you share this feed on whatever platform it is. Of course, on the page, you can find the link that'll go to all of our other platforms, or you can just search Behind the Helm and look for our lovely logo. So before we get started, right, we got an homage for the Eagle. We actually hung some up because the table was getting a little crowded.
A little crowded.
So I think we're just going to have to put a watch stander out there, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
Brought us a watch stander. I don't know. I'm going to get this close to the camera real quick. I hope it doesn't mess up the... Got a little Lego watch stander.
What's his rate? Does he have a rate?
He does not. Looks like...
out of uniform.
Yeah, out of uniform.
Or he's in A school.
He's in A school. There we go.
All school, and he's also still E1.
Yeah.
Yeah, just blank. He just comes out completely blank.
All right, so what are we talking about today?
We're talking about some debt.
Debt?
Right? We love debt. No, we don't. That was a joke.
Nobody loves debt.
No one likes debt.
Banks
no one likes
like
being
debt.
in debt, but there is one debt that is virtually, it's made to seem like it's hard to get out of or hard to avoid, but that'd be student loan debt. And we've had an episode before where Staff Sergeant Griffin from the Air Force was in here, and we talked about student debt. And we had a video of Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, millionaire twice.
I'm going to probably revisit that a little bit. We had the video with Don Nichols, who also talks about college and going and dropping out. And actually, there are a lot of our guests that we've talked to that started in college and
Yeah.
decided to drop out. And
Yeah.
it just depends on what they did with it. So, we're going to kind of go over some stuff. We're going to talk about some different options and programs that we have available without beating a few of them to death, because we've talked about them before, and show you a few different options that you might not have known were available.
So we're going to show you guys a few videos here. And the first one that's going to pop up, and if you're in there and you know who this is, just let me know. Dave Ramsey. All right. So Dave Ramsey, he's a well-known financial guru. I don't know how you say it.
It's a guru.
Yeah. An author with a nationally syndicated radio show. And, he's all over YouTube.
I mean, he's helped millions get out of debt. And Claire, my fiance, listens to him religiously. He has great programs. Obviously, you can buy into his programs, but you can just listen to a lot of his stuff for free.
Yeah,
really
his main book is called The Complete Money Makeover. Talks about the 7 baby steps of how to get out of debt. His main thing is about getting out of debt, and that's it. And if there's one debt that he doesn't like, right, that he definitely thinks is the worst of all, and that would be student loan debt. So we're gonna have to take a look at this video here where he kind of talks about, mostly aimed to parents, but I want you to put yourself in your parents' shoes and think about you funding your kids' college fund and see how that goes.
Whether it's now or one day.
Mm-hmm. Where to go with Mike?
Baby step 5 is where we're saving for our children's college.
Student debt also has a significant impact on student.
Baby step 5 is where we're saving for our children's college fund. And this is going to look different for everyone. There's no set number here because it really depends on your situation.
Did you have the baby last week, or is the baby 18? That makes a difference on how much you need for college, right? I mean, what you got to do for college. It's like, is this an oh crap moment, or hey, we're going to be diligent and safe? Did we wait almost until too late? Now, they have to go to college debt free. They cannot participate in this epic student loan system failure that is called America right now. It is horrible out there. Do not let your kids go in debt. You do not have to go to debt. Go to community college for free for 2 years. Go to in-state school. Work 6 jobs, get scholarships. Our student loan problem is a parenting problem. Mom and dad let kids sign up for crap they couldn't afford. Bad mama, bad daddy.
They got to have the conversations. That's where it starts. And there's a reason you say baby step 4, invest for yourself before the kids, because there's a 100% chance you're going to retire. There's a 50-50 chance or less these days that your kid's going to go to college.
And graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's less than 50% chance they're going to graduate. So
Baby step 5 is where we're saving for our children's college.
Yeah, still
working that
we're
new
always
software.
figuring it out. Well, we've come a long way from when our first episode, the computer died. So
We lost power.
yeah, that was
The computer
bad.
didn't die. We lost power in the building.
Oh yeah. That's what happened. So yeah, I mean, even just getting into that, I know that for a student watching it, they're like, well, I mean, that doesn't apply to me. I'm not saving for a college fund. Well, if you don't have one, then guess what you're jumping into? Debt, student loan debt, which he says is a complete disaster in America.
I think too, like, me and you have talked, and like, obviously you're a parent.
Yes.
I'm a parent. I think every parent wants the best for their kids, would love to be able to send their parent or send their child to whatever school. But, there where he's talking about invest in yourself first, but for your kids, there comes a point there where at what point do you do things on your own? What if your parents can't invest for you?
Yep.
I'm a Notre Dame fan. We've taken Logan to football games there, and he told me he wants to go to school there. Okay, buddy, good luck to you. That's not something that, I'll help him do, but I couldn't just pay for him to go there. Most parents couldn't, right? So, when somebody tells me like, well, my mom and dad are paying for college, well, good for you. Become a good story, bro. Like, become an adult and really understand that it's not that simple for your parents as well. So this is something that you should be looking at on your own and kind of understanding that future. whether you know yours is paid for or not, eventually you're going to have a family. What happens then? So these are things to really think about.
Exactly. And what is this student loan crisis or disaster that Dave Ramsey's talking about? Well, I'll give it to you through the numbers, because the numbers speak volumes, right? The proof is here on where we're at. All right, so 45 million Americans are shouldering $1.7 trillion in student loans. The national debt crisis has surged 144% over the past decade. Basically, if this trend continues, both borrowers and taxpayers are kind of facing a situation where they don't know if these student loan lenders are going to be able to keep handing out these loans to people that can't pay it back. It's a lot like the housing crash. We're giving people who are making, $50,000 a year, and they're handing out loans to people for a home that's $400,000.
Yep.
Or their credit was bad, because a lot of these kids that are getting these loans, they don't have credit. They don't have a history of paying off debt.
So then you're putting somebody else. So in order to do that, then somebody else is co-signing for this, right?
Exactly.
So you're actually, regardless of what you think that you're going to accomplish, you are putting somebody else's financial life at risk. Because if you don't complete it and then start paying on that, look, they're going to get their money. Now, you're not paying for it while you're at school, but there are costs involved. So we've talked about before, and we've looked up numbers where, most people call a bachelor's degree a 4-year degree. It can be achieved faster than that, but most of the time the national average is like almost 6 years because of the financial burden outside of just the cost of tuition, but the cost of living in general, the cost of food, the cost of, this, that, or whatever. And so you're working, and you can't just go to school and only do school unless you are one of the very lucky few who get scholarships. And we've had people on our show before that had scholarships, went completely for free, and then realized it wasn't quite where they wanted to be. But the big thing that we want to show and talk about with this is the college debt and how that looks in different ways around us. So I think that Dave Ramsey, people might look at us and say, well, that's cool. You're Navy recruiters. What do you know about it? Okay, we see it all the time. I have college degrees, but I'm not Dave Ramsey.
No.
I'll take his word to the bank, literally.
And with Dave Ramsey, he's not teaching anything that is that crazy. It's very easy to follow, and he has been proven that he knows what to do with money, and it's actually really simple. To continue on, though, 15% of all Americans report that they have outstanding undergraduate student debt. 15% of all Americans, not Americans who just have student loans. This is all. What's another one here? Yeah, student loan debt growth rate outpaces rising tuition costs by 353%.
It's insane.
And in the 21st century, the cost of college attendance has increased at an annual rate of 6.8%, which means more kids are going to school,
Which is good.
but that's a growth rate faster than 196.2% faster than current inflation, and 89% faster than wage inflation. So you got all these kids.
Those are current numbers, just so you know. And the big thing with that is we're not saying that going to school with student loans is necessarily a absolute horrible thing, because there are people who are successful with it.
Oh, yeah.
However, you need to understand what you're doing. And for those of you out there, if anybody's watching this, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but if you heard us say any number over 100% and you thought to yourself you can't give more than 100%, don't go to college.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
If I said 300%, just take the number and multiply it by 3. There you go.
You're not ready.
Yeah, you're not ready for it, boy. But let's look at CSNBC. Actually, did a little thing where they went over the student loan crisis, and they actually talked to some students on campus at Columbia University to get an idea of where their mind's at while they're actually going to school.
And while you're pulling that up, I will remind you, if you're out there, make sure to comment. We like talking to you and answering your questions. If you have any about what we're talking about, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you share this feed. Make sure you're following us so when we're live, on whatever platform you are, whether it's subscribe, like, share, follow. Find it, like it, share it, follow it. So
has a significant impact on students' everyday lives, the decisions they make, and their mental health.
To pay off my student debt, I have to either join the military or marry rich. So chances are probably join the military.
After I graduate, I'll have $35,000 in debt.
Currently, I have $65,000 of student debt, and I'll graduate with close to $100,000 of student debt.
And mostly that manifests itself as the kind of job, the career path you're going to seek after graduation.
I always wanted to pursue like pre-med and stuff like that.
I'm going to be doing investment banking.
Mostly high paying, we're talking Wall Street consulting.
They are super artistic and creative people, and they would love to pursue those pathways, but because of their income or because of the way that they've grown up, they are choosing like STEM fields.
I don't want to be in debt for all of my life, and the tuition here could definitely make that possible.
People are horrified about the possibility of not landing a job, not landing an internship, because if you don't land on your feet coming right out of it, what do you do?
It's one of the reasons why I cannot even enjoy being a student here, because every semester I have to worry about, do I have enough money to go to school next semester?
Well, especially people who have to work. I mean, the workload here is enough.
I have a job with the university in order to like supplement like my income.
Nothing in life comes easy. I think everyone can attest to that.
Get the best job possible to pay off that debt, and that's the best that I can do.
So yeah, even while they're going to school, you know, you could see students are just concerned about what's going to happen next, because that pressure to pay off the loans that they know they're about to have starts mounting even there. And I'm sure they hear about, you know, people that they knew who got out of college and they're struggling to find a job.
I think what was the one thing that kind of hit me, because we watched this earlier, but watching it again, was the one guy that almost seemed proud of his debt. Yeah, I'm $65,000 in debt, and by the time I graduate, it'll be over $120,000. Like, why are you happy with that?
Yeah.
But like the point that they said about the artistic people, like, you know, you can go to NYC and you know, Juilliard and these places that are for like, you know, the artsy, more creative people, and those jobs are not high-paying jobs, but it's a very high education. So, you know, that's the other thing we've talked about before, is making sure that whatever you're going for is something that's going to be marketable.
Yep.
You know, trade schools are huge right now. Please, like, listen to me. Look into that. You know, make sure you know what you're doing. You know, we've talked before about the GI Bill, and we don't want to get into that, you know, too much, because we've talked about it before, but understanding that, you know, the military isn't an opposite path of college. Everybody knows that the GI Bill, or they've heard of that, where it can pull them in, and then after you get out, you can use it. But we've also talked about our tuition assistance programs that while you're in, you can take college. Before I joined, I had zero college, never went, didn't want to go into debt, any of that, and I used TA plus the credits that I earned like while I was in, and received an associate's degree, and I have a certificate and another degree as well, and I haven't even touched my GI Bill, nor have I paid for any of it. So, you know, the option's there. We've talked about it before, but this is more informative. Understand the GI Bill, understand tuition assistance. Those are available through the Navy, but we have another program that we want to tell you about.
Yeah, I don't think it gets talked about enough. I'm sure many of you guys, if you're high school students, especially juniors and seniors, are really thinking about what their next step is, and a lot of times they're trying to look for scholarships. And the Navy actually has a very, very good scholarship called the Nrotc scholarship. That's the Navy Reserves Officers Training.
Navy Reserve Officers Training Corps.
There we go.
There you are.
Right, so basically it's a way to have your school completely paid for. There's over 160 universities that have these NROTC units. Here in Indiana, one you could go to is Notre Dame. There you go. Too late, sorry. So what it does is it covers all additional educational and lab fees, gives you a stipend for books, gives you a substance allowance. Basically, it goes up $50 from $250 up $50 every year into your senior year. But like I said, it pays up to $200,000 of your tuition and fees. So you're gonna be going to school, right? They're gonna be, you know, you're gonna be learning a skill that you're actually going to translate to become a commissioned officer in the Navy.
A lot of people, when we talk about that, where we're like, okay, hey, because some people don't necessarily want to go the enlisted route and get college. They want to go to college straight out. They have the skills, they have the scores, which we'll talk about that here in a minute. They have the qualifications to do so, but when they hear Navy and think college, they think that means only going to the Naval Academy in Annapolis. This is not what we're talking about. This is a scholarship with schools all over the United States where you can go, you're going to school, you're getting it paid for, and here's the biggest thing, and I'm probably going to steal your thunder because I think you wanted to say this. I'm sorry. You are guaranteed 100% job security once you get that degree.
Yes.
Tell me what other degree you're going to get with that. And yeah, sure, it's as a commissioned officer in the Navy. That's not a bad gig. It's 100% guaranteed. They're going to pay for all your school. You're going to have a job straight out of college, and you don't have to worry about paying back anything other than that and having that job and continuing to get paid.
And that was one of the concerns that the students who are going to Columbia, right, going to Columbia University, you're talking about one of the best universities in the nation. They're worried about if they're going to be able to land a job to pay off their student debt. Well, we're telling you that you are going to have a job in the field that you went to school for, because there's nothing that feels worse than spending 4 years at school, going into $120,000 in student debt, and you're not doing what you plan to do for the next 4 years, or during that 4 years, what you learned won't actually apply to what you're going to be doing.
Right.
That would just feel like a lot of time wasted. So I know you have in front of you, we wanted to go over some of these requirements.
Yeah.
So in front of you, you actually have.
So there's a couple things. So obviously,
we can actually show them.
I'm going to. So in the recruiting offices, and this isn't any special type of recruiting office, you go through your regular enlisted recruiter, just like Petty Officer Levesque and myself. We have different pamphlets even that have this information on it. Obviously, you can Google anything, right? But make sure you're getting from a reputable site. We have one specifically about the Nrotc program, and then Education for Life, which talks also about the GI Bill and the tuition assistance, among some other things. So there's all different kinds of educational benefits in the Navy. The biggest thing, too, is that with the NROTC scholarships, just like any scholarship, you have to understand that there is an application process, okay? And just like any other scholarship anywhere else, you are competing with others. So you have to go through that process. There are deadlines. We're not going to get into every single one, but if you are interested in that, you would want to go to, and we'll add this in the comments down below, www.nrotc.navy.mil. And it will lay out a lot of those. Wow. I lost my train of thought. Those requirements. Thank you. But just a few. You are still going to have to take an SAT. You're going to college. You're going to have to take an SAT. You're going to have to take an ACT. You have to have a cumulative high school GPA of at least 2.75. Your SAT is 540 math, 550 verbal. And writing, and 1,100 combined. So, there's different, just like any school, they have these things. Now, these are the minimums, of course. Again, you are competing for this just like any other scholarship, but if you aren't looking into this and you're looking into other scholarships, why aren't you looking into all of your options?
I want to add, on top of that, you got to be in the top 10% of your graduating class to be considered. So you fill out the application, and then you're going to have an appointment. So basically, you'll kind of have like an interview almost, like a board, to make sure that this is something that they would allow you to do. They're going to have a scholarship selection board consideration, but then you also have to have physical qualifications too, right? So if you're out of shape, if like definitely military is not in my future, or at least not in the close future, this isn't going to be something that's going to be kind of in your wheelhouse. So just know that while it is hard to get, it's so versatile.
Yeah.
You could be doing anything from nuclear power, aviation, nursing, anything pretty much in the STEM field if you're going to be doing science or or you want to be an engineer, anything like that, you're going to be able to do. And then you're going to do it in the Navy. And not only that, a lot of times when you get out of college, you're going kind of entry level. Will you be a supervisor right away?
Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
Probably
Maybe not.
not,
They probably already have somebody there.
Yeah.
And they maybe not want to hire somebody who's never been a manager.
You don't have that experience yet.
But when you join the Navy as an officer, you are kind of put in a higher position than basically, and I know we had to talk about this, seniority does play a role, but at the same time, pretty much anyone below a chief to an ensign,
which is an O1, that's the first
O1,
rank, as an officer.
If they say, hey, this is what we're doing, then that's what we're doing. So, but that's a lot of pressure at the same time. I mean, that's a lot you got to kind of bear. But when you go through the NRTC, you're gonna do drill. You're actually gonna do a lot of
leadership training,
and then you go to OCS, and you actually become an officer, and then that's when it's completely done. Once you complete that and you're done with school, then you'll be a commissioned officer. So you'll know how the Navy works. You'll know ranks and recognition. You'll know how to, be a leader and also receive a bachelor's degree for free.
There are reserve options as well. And here's one. I know this is one, and if I'm jumping too far ahead, let me know. But because I know this is something that you find just insane. So a lot of times when I talk to people and they're talking about different scholarships or sports scholarships or this or that, and they're concerned because there is an obligation, right? Hey, you're going on this sports scholarship or whatever. Well, you're obligated, for an X amount of time, and you're obligated to maintain this average, this. I think probably this is where it blows my mind that people aren't beating the door down to ask about the Nrotc scholarship.
Yep. And
that simple fact is what? 1 year.
Oh, yes, yeah. So basically, you could get the scholarship, get approved.
You have to get approved.
You have to get approved. You go to school, and within your first year, not the first semester, your first year, if you don't want to be in the Navy, or if you don't want to be in the NRTC program anymore, you could stop doing it. Now, you can continue to go to school, but guess what? You're going to be paying out of pocket for it, obviously. But you're not, you won't be completely obligated in that first year. So how about a free year of school? You get to figure it out. Hey, school is not for me. Because a lot of times what happens is, in the 21st century, you stop going to school, you owe it back.
Yep.
Not this. You won't owe it back.
And this is just an insane. And I'm going to read this. This is straight off of our literature. So, it gets vetted and has to be read. So it says, literally, no obligation. Completing the application does not obligate you in any way. You may disenroll from the NROTC scholarship program at any time during the freshman year without incurring any service obligation or financial penalty. That in and of itself it's insane. Now, I will tell you that more than likely, if you get approved for the scholarship, you get there, you're doing this. I think the reason that they have that is quite honestly that after that first year, you're not going to quit. But no, if you're worried about the future, everybody always, it's an unknown, I don't know. I'm telling you that you have a year for free. All you have to do is get approved and go. So if you're looking at if you're a junior, keep it in mind. If you're a senior right now and you don't know what you're doing and you haven't looked at this, you need to be looking at all of your options. You really do. Even if you are thinking about enlisting, you can be enlisted in our DEP program, delayed entry program, and you can still apply for this. So why wouldn't you? Make sure you look because there are deadlines. I don't want to misspeak. I didn't look it up. I do believe you have to start the application, at least by putting your name on it by the end of the year. And then everything has to be in by February. Don't quote me. We'll actually find that information, hopefully before we get off of here. But that's with most scholarships.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you have till the end of the year. So make sure that you're looking into this. Like, this is an amazing program. Come talk to us about it. It's something that I think is very valuable. And the big thing is, if you're out there and you're a school administrator or a teacher, this goes towards your school too. I mean, it is a scholarship.
Yeah, you're
just
double
like any
dipping
other.
there. You got someone who's joining the military and somebody who is also going to college.
Yeah.
So this is a great program to look at and to find out if you just qualify. There's nothing. We just said there's no obligation.
Yeah.
And even on top of that, there's no obligation to join the Navy, even if you came in to not talk about ROTC.
Oh, yeah.
So and just know that.
Well, even if you did to talk about this, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if you want to get the information and find out if you're qualified for it, you know, we're not going to tie you to a chair. Make sure you, like, a lot of people always tell us, like, oh, I want to make sure I look at all my options. Have you looked at NROTC?
Yeah.
Well, no. Then you're not looking at all your options.
Yeah.
Because I can talk to you about both, regular and listed.
We
and
know
interested.
know what that really is.
It means I'm too
I have to
scared.
look at my options.
I gotta go home and talk to my mom.
I got to turn into a ghost.
So
These kids go Danny Fandom.
Yeah.
Hey, Stinson says it's good to have options.
it is good to have
It is
options.
good to have options.
You should have options. So, you know, again, make sure no matter what platform you're watching this on, that you hit the subscribe button, you hit the like button, you hit the follow button. Find a like, share, follow. Share this feed. Somebody out there needs this information. It may not be for you, but we're glad that you're here. And hopefully the next one will be. As always, some of you might just be hanging out for what we're doing next. But definitely make sure that you like this page, follow this page, share this page, get people following it, because eventually it's going to help someone. And that's what we're here to do.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, bonus content is about to start in 3, 2.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. You were just behind the helm. To see this podcast live, check us out on Facebook every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you were listening to this podcast on Apple or Spotify, head on over to our YouTube page to see this show and extra content. If you're on YouTube already, click the video below to see the after show and bonus content that's available right now. No matter what platform you're on, find the link in the description to find the links to all our other platforms. And as always, find it, like it, share it, and follow it. Thanks, guys.